Imagine walking into a room, and suddenly your heart races, your hands tremble, and your body screams at you to run. But there's no monster, no danger, just a pattern of tiny holes, or a deep dark ocean, or even a simple clown at a birthday party. Phobias aren't just fears. They're irrational terrors that take over your mind, controlling your thoughts, your body, your very existence. And the scariest part? Your brain is doing it to you, on purpose. Today, I am uncovering the most disturbing phobias known to man, and the terrifying ways they control you. Let's talk about what a phobia actually is. You see, fear is normal. It keeps us alive. It's why our ancestors ran from predators instead of becoming their next meal. But a phobia? That's something different. A phobia isn't just fear. It's fear cranked up to the point where logic disappears. Your heart pounds, your breathing gets shallow, and your body reacts like you're about to die, even when you're perfectly safe. Phobias can be caused by trauma, learned behaviors, or even genetics. Sometimes they form from a single bad experience. Other times they appear out of nowhere, hijacking the brain and refusing to let go. And now, let's talk about the phobias that haunt people the most. Trypophobia, fear of clusters of holes. Imagine looking at something that seems totally innocent, like a lotus pod or a honeycomb. But suddenly your skin crawls, your stomach turns. You feel the overwhelming urge to look away, even though you don't understand why. This is trypophobia, the fear of clusters of holes. It's not just uncomfortable, it feels wrong. Scientists aren't entirely sure why this happens, but many believe it's tied to our brains recognizing patterns associated with danger, like diseased skin or parasites. Thalassophobia, fear of the ocean or deep water. Now imagine standing at the edge of the ocean, staring at the water stretching endlessly into the horizon. But instead of peace, you feel dread. The vast emptiness below. It's as if something is lurking, waiting to pull you under. This is thalassophobia, a fear of the ocean or any deep body of water. For some, it's the fear of what's hidden beneath the surface. For others, it's the terrifying idea of being lost at sea with no land in sight. Coulrophobia, fear of clowns. Clowns are meant to be fun, right? But for some, they're the stuff of nightmares, is one of the most common phobias, and for good reason. It's the exaggerated makeup, the painted smile, the hidden emotions beneath the surface that make them so unsettling. And sometimes it's not just their appearance, it's the unpredictable behavior, the sense that a clown may not be as friendly as they seem. Taphophobia, fear of being buried alive. One of the oldest and most primal fears is the fear of being buried alive, taphophobia. The very thought of being sealed inside a coffin, unable to breathe, desperate for escape. It's a nightmare many people live with throughout history. There have been terrifying cases of people being mistakenly buried alive, and for some, the fear that they might wake up in a coffin still haunts them. Agyrophobia, fear of crossing streets. And here's one you might not expect. For some, it's the overwhelming anxiety of getting hit by a car. For others, it's the thought of not being able to control the environment around them. It might sound irrational, but for those who suffer from it, it's a very real and paralyzing fear. So, what's going on inside your brain when you feel that overwhelming fear? The answer lies in a tiny, almond-shaped region deep in your brain called the amygdala. This is the part responsible for processing emotions, especially fear. When you encounter something that triggers your phobia, the amygdala goes into overdrive, sending signals throughout your body. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense up, and you go into fight or flight mode, ready to escape, even when there's no real danger. Phobias, however, can be a bit more complicated. Over time, your brain can become hardwired to associate certain things with fear, even if they aren't inherently dangerous. This is called classical conditioning, when your brain forms an automatic response to something you've experienced, like a traumatic event. Imagine being bitten by a dog. From that moment on, your brain might start associating dogs with danger. Every time you see one, the same fear response kicks in, even if the dog is friendly. But it's not just trauma. Some phobias may even have a genetic link. Studies suggest that if someone in your family suffers from a particular phobia, you might be more likely to develop the same fear. It's as if your brain has learned to prepare for danger before you even encounter it. But here's the thing. No matter how phobias form, they still have the power to control us. And the scarier the fear, the more difficult it can be to overcome. So, now that we know what's going on in the brain when phobias take control, the big question is, can they be overcome? The answer is yes, but it's not always easy. One of the most effective ways to overcome a phobia is through exposure therapy. This process involves gradually confronting the source of your fear in a controlled and safe environment. By slowly and safely exposing yourself to what you fear, your brain can begin to rewire itself, learning that the feared object or situation isn't dangerous after all. It's a process that takes time, but the goal is to reduce the fear response until the phobia loses its power. Another technique that's often used is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. This method helps you reframe your thoughts about the feared object and challenge the irrational beliefs that keep the fear alive. Through CBT, you learn to recognize that your fears aren't always based on reality. For example, if you fear elevators, you may be convinced that something will go wrong, but CBT helps you realize that these thoughts are just that, thoughts, not facts. And for some, mindfulness and relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or progressive muscle relaxation can help calm the body's natural fear response, allowing you to regain control when anxiety strikes. Overcoming phobias takes patience, effort, and sometimes professional help, but it's possible. Whether through therapy, self-work, or a combination of both, you can face your fears and eventually learn to live without them controlling your life. Phobias may seem overwhelming, but remember, your brain is powerful, and with the right tools, you can regain control. If you or someone you know suffers from a phobia, take the first step towards confronting it today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the psychology of fear and phobias, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on more content like this. Stay tuned for more stories that explore the depths of the human mind. Thank you for watching, and remember, fear only controls you if you let it.